which brings me back to Captain Cook coming across, finding Aborigines in Australia and noticing how dark they were and asking, how did they get here? They don't have any ship that will go to sea, but they certainly have throwing sticks, ones that come back and ones that don't come back. And of course, it was many, many years before people got round to doing the obvious. They came up with all sorts of theories about where the Aborigines came from, both racially, historically, and how did they get here? Finally, someone said, why don't you just ask them? Well, that's good, because they actually say their elders walked from way up north in the dream time. Interesting. So I brought up some boomerangs. I brought up the issue of black swans. I brought up the Aboriginal people. I brought up the topic of Indigenous. I brought up how dark they are. Now let's look at a little bit of information all around that. There's a question mark. There's the boomerangs I showed you, because the ones that we have are from the Warlpiri people, deliberately made for creation research. They live west of Ayers Rock, or Uluru as it's politically called these days. And notice they're different. And the question mark is, what do you think the name of the curved one with a hook on it is? The other two are fairly easy. You'd say boomerangs. But the one with the curved hook is different. You see, it's for killing things. The other ones are returning boomerangs. But boomerangs are interesting, because I took this picture in the US of A, way out there near the Grand Canyon, way out there down near Arizona. And in fact, I went to their archives. They used boomerangs for catching rabbits until the cowboys gave them 6 guns. 6 guns are far more effective. Boomerangs are not exclusively Australian. In fact, here's a cave where this boomerang was found in Poland, made out of ivory. In fact, people think of Aborigines as inventing the boomerang. The truth is they're the last people to keep using them, because here we are in Egypt. Notice the curved stick that he's been using on the birds. Now, when you look at Egypt, have a look at these soldiers. Have a look at what they're carrying even as weapons. Notice there's a curved throwing stick. In fact, we paid a small fortune to the British Natural History Museum, £1,000, and this is 30 years ago when we were filming things, an hour to peek into Tutankhamun's coffin. That's what was in there. Boomerangs. Wow. Throwing sticks, curved throwing sticks. Aborigines aren't the people who invent the boomerang. Aborigines are the last people to keep using it. In fact, the Egyptians had them. And when you go to the Suntail Hills we referred to before, you not only find people who look like Aborigines, you find dingoes and you find boomerangs, curved throwing sticks. And when you bring this all back to the centre of Australia, where that killing stick came from, and the question was, what do you call it? The answer is, well, you would hear Kali. And when you're thinking Kali, I know that word from somewhere, because Kali is evidence of the Tower of Babel. Kali is the goddess of death in India. Killing sticks kill you dead. You see, even though that's only an interesting little snippet, the fact that there are boomerangs in India, the fact there are dingoes, the fact that there are killing sticks with a name you would only get from India, and the fact that we call ourselves mankind derived from the story of India, where we got off the ark and our leader was Manu. There are many theories and opinions that contradict everything in the Bible, but the facts never do. You see, one reason the evolutionist wants us to have no history related to the Bible is that if God is not our head Rosh, the one who gave rise to us, then he has no authority over us. But you see, the facts show that he is, and that from one man all people came, and then from 3 groups of people, and then from 70 groups at the Tower of Babel. Yes, you'll find even those stories are reflected all around the culture of the world, even though they've lost the original printed version and some of the details have got messed up. So let's give you a humorous perspective. I get myself into trouble with my humor sometime. I'm going to talk about the real history of boat people. You know, popular word these days, people flooding into England, sadly some people drowning, people flooding across from Africa into Spain and coming to Australia. Boat people. Oh, the boat there, by the way, is Noah's Ark. Boat people on the way to Australia. You do realise the time when there was not only no Australia, there was no kangaroos in Australia. The kangaroos arrive. The Aborigines come. Oh no, boat people. I say that because I can take you down the coast from where I am and to the beach where the Aborigines told me. You can watch it on our Origin of the Races DVD. We interview them on this beach. 3 brothers landed after the lots of war and fighting in the middle of the world, after the big flood, and they spread out from there. And then the Aborigines become those who we regard as indigenous, and they see the Europeans some 200 years ago. Oh no, boat people. And then the Europeans get settled, and then they say, oh no, boat people after the Vietnamese War. Sounds familiar? Because now it's the Iraqis. Oh no, boat people. This is the history of the planet. In fact, since we all started on Noah's flood, we're all boat people. We all got off the same boat. We'd all been judged by the same God. And he also used the ark to save one family. And they gave rise to you and me and everybody on the planet. And our problem is still the same one that caused Noah's flood. It's not a problem on the outside. It's a problem on the inside. It's called sin. And that's the only way that you will deal with racial conflict, not by declassifying their colours, not by saying there's only shades of brown in your cute little song, but by dealing with the issue of sin. And only our head Rosh, Jesus, actually came to do that.